Check, check, check. Hello, hello. Hello. Vlog, vlog, vlog. Can you guys hear me? Vlog, vlog, vlog. This is vlog number, I'm not sure what, but it's been a while since I vlogged, as usual, so I'm just gonna vlog a little bit, catch up. I told you guys on Palm Street, on my Palm shows, that I would put one out. We don't have a gecko pot this week, so I'm gonna put out a vlog. There's always stuff to be talked about. On my Palm Streets, all of April and this past Monday, all my shows have been like 6+ hours, 6 to 7, almost 8 hours for some of them, which is a really long time. But you know, some weeks were good, some weeks were just okay with sales, but all in all, it was fine and good. But all that time was spent, talking. Like, I didn't go to the bathroom, because when I'm there on camera, then I'm usually like in the zone. So yeah, the Palm Streets I've been doing, and I've just been going nonstop. I miss dinner, and I don't go to the bathroom, and I don't eat very much. And I know it's not healthy, but all that to say is that there's always stuff to talk about. There's always content to be had. And I figure, since the Palm stuff isn't recorded for the public, in terms of you can't rewatch it, then I figure it's time for another vlog. So yep, I'm just filling up some water in the gecko room, the hatch room, and figure we can chat while I'm doing a few chores here. Just an update with Palm stuff. Palm Street, if you're not familiar, is a live sales platform. By now, probably all reptile people know about it, which is a testament to kind of the marketing that Palm has done, and also, establishing certain breeders, reptile breeders, onto the platform. And from there, expanding and growing and bringing on more sellers and users. Whatever pace they're going at, that's debatable. But, Palm Street has their own metrics in what they want to hit in terms of user base, in terms of seller base. And so they'll do what they are going to do. All we can do is, as sellers and as buyers and as users of the platform, all we can do is just kind of adjust accordingly to it. And, if it's good, then we use it. If it's not good, we don't use it. It's really that simple. So I know that a lot of people will complain about Palm Street. They'll complain about it's ruining the market, it's flooding the market. And, AJ is my podcast buddy, and is also a top user of the platform Palm Street as well. And he's been doing online auctions on YouTube before the majority of people have been doing it, at least in the gecko world, new cal world. But, we talk about it, and we're like, yeah, there's pros and cons to kind of how things are being done at Palm Street. But again, they have their metrics, and all we can do is just adjust to it. In this last Palm Street Live, I basically just said that, I'm thankful for Palm and any sort of live selling platform, even Morph Market, because it just allows sellers to sell rather than just a local vending show. It allows us to be at home online, so easy to use, and we can sell and ship things, and we can hit customer base around the world. In the country, I guess, in America, except for Canada. Sorry, Canadians. Palm Street's not available over there yet. I know, maybe eventually. I don't know. You guys have to talk to the Palm Street team about that. But yeah, it allows us a space to just be here in the comforts of our home and be able to sell things. The downside now is that Palm Street has been opening things up to, all sorts of breeders. And sometimes, it can rub against kind of the hobby of, the purists, in terms of like, oh, we're breeders. Those guys are wholesalers, and for me, I think there is some truth to that. We do have to be careful about that, but also At the end of the day, these are businesses, and we can't really stop what everybody's looking out for themselves, to be fair, and they have a right to do so. And Palm will kind of run their metrics and disregard certain things, and that's their prerogative, right? They're already giving us a platform to sell. Like, without it, what else are we going to do? Complain about Morph Market, complain about our local shows, which has happened even before Palm came about. Then we were already complaining about the market and how we have all these like wholesalers, or complaining about the local shows, we can't sell anything. We're talking about people that's oversaturating the market, so there's always stuff to complain about. For me, it's fine and good to kind of critique the nature of where we're at, but at the end of the day, we can't do anything about it. Meaning we can't. It's hard for any one of us to change the flow of where we're at, and instead, we need to adjust to the market. To me, it's really that simple. If tomorrow, let's say tomorrow, we double in size in terms of the hobby and wholesalers, let's say things swing more and more towards wholesale. We have, rather than having breeders, we have wholesalers that don't know how to breed, that haven't even owned animals for more than 6 months, don't know how to care for animals, and they're already selling, which is happening on Palm. Again, their prerogative, they could do what they want, but if that's the majority of the hobby and things are completely dumped, then we adjust. We can complain, we can be sad about it, but we adjust. You can find different angles in terms of catering to the high end, and yeah, maybe your sales aren't going to be as good, but like, we can bitch and complain, or we can adjust, and we can critique, and that's fine, and that's good, like we do on the Gecko Pod, right? We critique stuff. We've definitely critiqued Korea and their market. We've critiqued our markets, our U.S. markets, and the wholesalers and things like that, and it's okay to critique, but at the end of the day, really at the end of the day, none of us can we can either just sulk and cry about it, or we can adjust and move on. And I think we just need to adjust. We constantly need to adjust. The beautiful thing about business and the free market is that we can do whatever we want. If we're not happy about certain things, we leave. Even if we leave reluctantly, we leave and we find another space to flourish in and thrive in. There's no point in us just sulking forever and just crying about how Palm has arrived, or how Morph Market is ruining things, or how XYZ is doing this and that, or for me, I don't have any wholesale animals. I'm a breeder through and through from scratch. I raised babies up from scratch and bred those, and making my own babies. And I get it. I get it. My investment into this hobby is very high. I would say that it's much higher than the majority of people who are in this hobby. So I get it. I get that we want to protect the hobby, we want to protect the market, and it seems like there's a lot of flooding, right? And I get it. So I'm right there with you guys when I feel the pain of how things are going down. However, we just got to stay positive and adjust, right? We're not like oblivious to what's happening, but we adjust and we discuss. It's okay to process things, but at the end of the day, we just got to adjust. So that's kind of where I'm at, and kind of my take on it is that Palm is Palm. Just utilize it for what it is. Do your best, build your socials. And my vlogs have always been, growing. It's about community. It's about the hobby. What is it? What's the tagline, guys? I forget. It's like community, business, hobby, or something like that. I talk about the community. I talk about the business. Talk about the hobby. And yeah, we just keep adjusting and moving on. Okay, I'm just filling up waters. Today's Thursday. I'm recording on this Thursday, and I fed crickets yesterday. Got loaded my crickets, fed them, and then tomorrow is diet day. So I'm just filling up, topping off all the waters, and then tomorrow when I have diet and food, then I'll just quickly squirt it in and fill up some of the clear bowls. So most of the stuff is cleared in terms of the food, so I don't have to wash it this round. Usually I cycle it 2 rounds before I do a full wash of the dirty dishes. So that way it saves me a little bit of time. But obviously if there's like poop and stuff all over it, then I'll swap them out. But so yeah, there's that. That's kind of where we're at, or how I see things. And my perspective is obviously really limited, but that's been kind of my take. Rue, go away. Rue's in here. She's always trying to like sniff geckos and bite them. No, she's not trying to bite them, but she's very curious about them. I don't know if you could see her. Rue, come here. Oh, here's Rue. Rooster. Rue, who's that? I got a little beeper collar on her. Oh man. Yeah, so I was, as always, a lot of my vlogs are like, oh, I was talking to AJ when there's a lot of topics to be had, but I was talking to AJ, and we were just talking about what I just talked about a little bit. And also, there's a difference between people that operate just purely business minded. So when you're just purely business minded, you'll be like, what's the quick flip? How can we operate in a way that maximizes the dollar? Oh, I bought this wholesale from RBM or Korea or wherever for $10 a piece. Even if I sell it for $40, I'm making what is that? Whatever percentage that is, $30 on top of that. So what is that, 400%? I don't know. So people operate on those levels, and they're not thinking about the actual value of the animal. And maybe some of these animals are like really booty animals that aren't even worth that. But the fact that we're on a platform that can showcase a lot of our animals, and there's a lot of new buyers, like why would new buyers spend $200 as opposed to $40 for a gecko? They don't know the difference. Most people don't know the difference between quality. Like there are some things that are very obvious, like, oh, this is stark white, lily white. That one is obviously better than like this flame doll over here selling for $40. Some things you can tell really obvious. But in terms of like the mid-tier stuff and some of the even high-end but unmorphed, fancy morph stuff, then it's not as easy to tell, right? To the untrained eye, you just don't know what you're buying. You're just gonna buy the cheapest thing. So the scary part about that wholesale thing is that for new breeders or new buyers, they're just going to buy a bunch of cheap stuff and perpetuate the wholesale market, which kind of sucks. But at the same time, there's pros to it. If we look at it from a positive level, we can see that it does bring in new buyers, and eventually, the hope is that those new buyers will graduate from wholesale booty stuff to mid-tier stuff and then to higher end stuff, right? That is the goal. Most people don't eventually get there, but a lot of people do. And I think that's kind of where the beauty between business and hobbyists merge in this perfect world where we, high-end breeders can still flourish and grow, and people aspire to be high-end breeders, right? I'm seeing less and less people aspire towards high-end breeding. Most people are just like dumping collections, and they don't have the patience to get to this level where they are high-end breeding. It seems more and more rare, and this is my anecdotal perspective, but Palm is obviously very prominent in this space right now, and what everyone sees from Palm is that where are the high-end breeders? Where is the high-end market? It feels like it's diminishing a bit, A lot of people are just, buying cheap stuff, and it is a little bit of a tough pill to swallow. But the wholesalers don't necessarily see it in that way because they're not purist, and I get it. a business and a marketplace doesn't always thrive off of purists and people that are just solely into like the high end, right? So this is where the clash between, you know, pure hobbyist and wholesale business and just purely business minded people, they clash a little bit. For me, I've always tried to present this vlog and the Gecko Pod, hopefully in ways that kind of merges both. So, you know, like the tagline for the Gecko Pod is, this is a podcast for the gecko community where we talk about the hobby and business of breeding geckos, right? I'm trying to merge those two worlds of saying like, yes, there's high end here. Let's improve on the husbandry. Let's improve on our projects. Let's improve on the quality and the structures and the traits, and let's make some really cool stuff. But there's business too. Let's make it a business. Let's run a well-oiled business machine that merges both of those things. And yeah, the what we see is not always, often not that right now. At least there is that, but it's more rare now. So what do? We can talk about it. We can critique the current market, but you know, we can educate. So for me, education, that's that's really the only thing we can do right now for me, from my perspective. The podcast is important for that reason. The vlog is important for that reason. Doing shows for 6, 7, 8 hours is important because not only am I trying to sell my stuff, but I want to educate. I want people to understand and learn husbandry, like take care of your animals. Like if you don't even know how to take care of your animals, you've only been in the hobby for 5 minutes, like how are you going to sell stuff? You know, it's there needs to be some sort of common sense to what you're doing. You know, a lot of successful businesses, even outside of the reptile world, exist because they're wholesalers, right? So I have a friend, his dad makes a lot of money, you know, millions of dollars, reselling, you know, quote unquote fancy shirts off of Amazon or eBay, you know. So he wholesale buys like a bunch of different brands, you know, secondhand brand or whatever he gets a source, he gets it, and then he upcharges and he resells and he makes a lot of money, right? A lot of businesses are run by reselling other people's stuff. We're seeing more and more of that, at least visually. At least, you know, we have more access to seeing those things, the visibility of it, because of Palm. We see more of that going on. It's always gone on. Like wholesale has gone on forever, but we see more of it now, and it's trickling down into just the very forefront of seeing it actually visible. And Palm Street magnifies kind of that, magnifies that portion of the hobby. More people are seeing it as a business where they can just buy and flip. Again, I'm not against those things, but I think it can be done better. And also, it's just sad to see that we're losing more and more people. You know, a lot of people are leaving the hobby. People that are hobbyists that have been in here for many, many years. You know, they're several generations into their productions, and they're not always able to sell their stuff. You know, so I obviously have a heart for the hobbyist who, you know, who just started the thing from scratch, because that's what I did. You know, I don't have any wholesale at all, at least right now. Again, I'm not against it, but I understand the grind. The grind is very difficult. There seems to be less and less patience in the hobby, at least what we can see right now. It doesn't seem like people are patient enough to be like, okay, here, let me take a year or two to develop my projects, to develop what I like and learn and grow before I start to, you know, sell things, right? Let me educate myself. Let me experience a little before I just jump straight into selling wholesale willy-nilly, you know? You know, to me, I think the grind really is a good teacher. So, just starting things from scratch and understanding what morphs and traits are, how they interact, as much as possible. Like even me, I don't know everything. Like just this past Monday, like I asked, what is this? And people are like, oh, it's a flame, like, so I know what flames are. And at the same time, like sometimes you just don't connect things right away, or, like sometimes I'll say stupid stuff. So I don't know everything. I'm still learning myself. But we need more of that, right? We need people to kind of educate themselves before they jump into, teaching others. Like, how are you going to teach others if you yourself aren't learning or growing? And so I do think that it takes a little bit of a time. So the Gecko pod, obviously, when I first started it, I didn't know very much. And so I positioned it and postured the pod as, hey, I'm a new breeder. I'm going to interview a lot of OG experienced breeders, and we're going to have conversation and interactions, and we're going to learn that way. And I'm going to show people bring them along for the ride so that we can all learn together, right? So there's different ways to do it, but we just need to educate ourselves in the hobby before we just jump straight into business. So I get it. Like everyone's trying to make money. I am too. I'm definitely not against making money. We need to make money. We don't need to, but you know what I mean. Like we need to sustain the hobby. If you want to have like amazing projects, it takes money, and I want everybody to succeed and do well in the hobby so that they can make amazing things, and it will further the quality of animals in the hobby. We need that, right? I prefer people that go through the grind of building up their collections and investing a lot of money into like high-end stuff so that it really furthers the hobby, right? Korea is like way ahead. Like however they do it, that's another story. I don't want to like assume anything, but Korea has done an overall good job in terms of like just doing some really crazy things. Where they get their money from, I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. I have my speculations, but I don't really know. All I know is what I see, and what I see is that they have some really nice animals. Like, why can't we have that here? We do and we don't. You know what I mean? Like, we should be at the forefront of the gecko hobby. We should have the very best things. We should have more breeders, like fine tuning their collections on a next level way, and it just seems like we're going to Korea for animals, and and for a good reason, because they have nice animals for decent prices. So yeah, my encouragement to you guys is that don't immediately go to wholesale. Like you can do that, trickle that, that's fine, but fine tune your projects. Take time, spend time, learn the traits, learn the morphs, learn the husbandry, learn the interactions, learn the community. There are ways to step into the hobby and the community that isn't off-putting, and there are ways that is very off-putting. You gotta kind of play the game a little bit. And what I mean is that you don't have to kiss ass, but you have to understand that it's not just purely about money here, right? We want to make the very best things. Like, we need to beat Korea. They're making amazing animals. We need to do this. And what that takes is investment, patience and investment. So it's a slow, steady grind. That's my encouragement to you guys. Just don't just immediately jump to wholesale or flipping animals. Learn. Be patient. Don't leave the hobby. Don't try not to leave the hobby. Just be patient. Work another job. Supplement your hobby addiction. Side hustle as you go, and spend the next 4+ years, improving your business, improving your stock, and I think everybody will benefit from it. That's the main topic I wanted to talk about. Yeah, I don't know how long I want to go. We're at 24 minutes. We're gonna go longer. We'll go a little bit longer. Some updates for this year. So I mean, just when it comes to business, let's talk a little bit more about business, right? When it comes to business, this past year has from, I would say, December, January, I took it easy a little bit because of the holidays, and then I went hard February, March, and then April last month I went really hard, right? And it's and so yeah, I did well overall in the grand scheme of things, in terms of revenue, in terms of income, in terms of having more funds to funnel other projects. And I feel very blessed. And so I don't take it lightly when people support me by buying animals, by by really encouraging me in the hobby. And so, Ro, stop. Stop. So there is that. Rue threw me off. I forgot what I was talking about. Rue. Oh, I was talking about Palm Street and doing well in there. So it's not just Palm where the platform where I did well. It's also the private stuff. Through my website, through private chats. I was able to sell a good amount of stuff, and Palm has been kind of that platform to kind of showcase some of my stuff. Sometimes I'll show animals on there, not with the intention to sell, but just to show what I have, and then people will hit me up afterwards, and I'll sell outside of the show as well. So that's been a good. It's been very helpful for me to kind of move stuff and just do well overall these past few months. So that has been positive and good, and it allows me to kind of free up some rack space. So where if I didn't sell all that I sold, I probably would have been backed up like several more racks back here, right? But I've been trying to keep the animals down to a manageable level where I don't have to pay more than $100 a week buying 6K crickets and food. It gets expensive, right? So I've been trying to slim down, at least keep at pace with the sales and kind of the hatching, right? So I have eggs rolling, things are hatching. Upstairs I have a hatch rack. I have two hatch racks where I initially put them because the incubator's up there. Initially I put those hatchlings up there, and then I start moving them down here. So I've been trying to find that balance between not selling too much, but selling enough so that it kind of keeps the racks a little bit not as full. So I'm over here right now. I've been selling down and up and just kind of trying to keep things at a pace where it's like, okay, we're doing okay. We're doing okay. So even if I were to do a show, like if I were to go to Anaheim or Pomona or head out to Tinley with AJ, I could fill out a table for sure. But yeah, I'm trying to trickle it, not too slowly at this point, not too slowly, but not too quickly. So just at a good pace. So I feel like it's okay right now. I'm still trying to figure out that pace moving forward. So that's been good. It's been good so far. Like even over here, I have my shipping supplies. I'm using the racks instead of animals to have shipping supplies, right? So I have my cryos. So I have a bunch of cryos here, right? I have like bins of cryos up here. I just bought a new box. So I have like 70 cryos here. I have these little baggies, Ziploc bags that I'm going to start putting my stickers in. I have 887s here. I have 1296s. I have 776. Yeah, I have all the food. I have my Repashy here, some Vital Meal, heat packs, cold packs, ice packs, my packaging paper, my non-animal shipments, my 6x6x6 U-line for dry goods, my 888s, my poly bags for t-shirts, hoodies. Yeah, so I kind of have my shipping station right here, and I hope I can keep it. Like I'm trying to keep the animals down where I can still utilize this space for shipping and stuff. But obviously when I first built out this room, it was with the intention to kind of fill out, but I realized now that I'm like, if this room were filled, man, I would be so swamped. I mean, I'm swamped enough as it is when it comes to care and feeding. If this room were all filled out and upstairs was all filled out, I would be, I don't know how I would be able to manage it and a family and do all these other side projects. I guess, if I had no other things going on, I could do it. But I have other side projects going on, which is taking a lot of my time currently. So I'll talk a little bit about that, and then I'll end this vlog and save some more information for next time. But yeah, business wise has been good. I've been using a lot of those funds that I've been getting from this business and to funnel it to another business, which I've talked lightly about on Palm Street. Is that I'm working on another business that is in the realm of the shipping industry, and I haven't launched that yet, obviously, otherwise you guys would see it. But I'm working on that. I'm working on all my accounts. I'm working on all of the features. I'm working with a development team, and yeah, I'm just trying to kind of lay low for now until I have everything ready and not get overly excited about it until it's ready, So, AJ has his business. He's working on his food thing, and he's grinding it out and learning the ins and out of the industry. He's testing his samples. Sorry, AJ, if I'm not supposed to give away your business, but he's working on that, and we've talked a little bit about it before on the pod and the Palm. So he's doing his thing, and then I'm doing my thing, which is taking a lot of at least my time to kind of build out that side of the business world, and yeah, just a lot of meetings, and you guys will see hopefully shortly that things are moving and in motion and looking more positive. So, yep. So I'm gonna stay. I guess that's as much as I'll share for now. But yeah, stay tuned for that. You'll know when it's out. It'll be very obvious. So yeah, I'm working on that, and when it comes to the future so I have two businesses. I have the farming, the geckos, breeding, selling, work on those projects, and then I have the industry business, working with shipping stuff, and those are two businesses that kind of collide a little bit, but also they're separate entities. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out the balance between working on those two businesses. And I don't know until I launch the product and see how it's received, how I can adjust, and how I can grow it from there. So I'm taking it with the approach of how I took the gecko business, and it was just kind of slow and steady. Like, build out your socials, make the connections, and I'm leveraging some of that now, what I already built with the Gecko Pod, with Zero's Geckos, the branding, the marketing, the community building. I'm leveraging that a little bit and rolling it into this new business. So I'm not starting from scratch. I do have, I'm building off of those foundations, and I'm just going to further those foundations and cement it further beyond the gecko world. So yeah, I have a lot of ideas, a lot of ways I want to go about it, and I'm pretty excited about it. Whether it flops, whether it does well, I'm leaving that up to God. I just really enjoy the process. Like, I love learning. I love working on things that I think are worthwhile and helpful for people. And I really do think that the service will be beneficial to people that need that service. So I'm really trying to just sit down and be creative with, like, okay, how can I help this space? What can I do in terms of the industry and the space, and just making sure that that everyone has I'm gonna say everyone's taken care of, because like that's a lofty goal, but but yeah, I really want to see people flourish and grow in this hobby. And how we do that is by providing services. Like, oh, what about all these other businesses? I mean, yeah, but we see pain points in each one of those businesses, right? I don't think the reason why I don't like monopolies is because, so here's a good example. Xfinity slash Comcast is by and large a pretty big monopoly within the realm of internet. And before it was like TV, right? But now nobody watches TV. They just stream Netflix and Amazon Prime and Hulu and HBO Max. So I'm thankful for that. But Xfinity still has a pretty strong chokehold in a lot of areas in terms of internet. A good example is this. Like, so I was paying $130 a month for only internet, which is insane, for 2 years, right? How they get you is like, oh, here's the intro rate, $70, and then after your intro rate expires in 12 months, then it like shoots up double, right? So that's exactly what happened. And I try to get out of it. I'm like, oh shoot, what I do? How do I change this? Oh, you're stuck here. They said you're in a contract, you're in lease, and so eventually, this is recent too. This is only within this last 6 months. I'm like, okay, I'm canceling. Like, you guys are ridiculous. I'm canceling. So I canceled. Then I went to T-Mobile home internet, 5G home internet. I tried that for a month. Garbage. Again, it's not garbage everywhere. It's garbage where I'm at. It really depends on the satellites and the cell service. For me, dude, it was like way too slow. Like the upload speeds were terrible. So it was unusable for what I need for work. Sometimes my wife works from home. I do streaming. I do a lot of. I need the internet. I use a lot of internet. I have a family of 6, so everybody's online streaming, downloading things, doing projects, video calls, and so T-Mobile 5G sucks in my area. And then I called Sonic. They came. I was ready to throw down. I called 2 other companies, local companies that can give me, fiber is not available yet, but they can give me like really good satellite or really good whatever internet. And they all came, the tech came to install. Every single one said line of sight for the satellites in my area is diminished and they can't service my home. Somebody suggested a satellite, Starlink. I looked into that and its speeds were too slow. All that to say, I crawled back to Comcast and Xfinity, and I re-signed up for Comcast for Xfinity. So it's a chokehold. It's a monopoly. Like and I feel stuck. With Xfinity. So my point in sharing that is that even though there might be like however many shippers, even though there might be however many food, Rapashi, Pangea, Vital Meal, XYZ brand, like I feel like those things are important. Options are important. Why do we have so many cars? Some people like Ford F-150 trucks. Some people like Ford Tacomas. We have a Ford Maverick. Like there's different variations of the same thing for different needs. So why I'm stepping into the space is because I see a certain need in the industry of shipping, and I want to help provide that. So am I trying to take all the customers? No. To me, I feel like there's space for everybody as long as we all play nice. I'm okay with that, like even if we don't play nice, whatever. Like I'm pretty reclusive into myself at this point, but I do see a certain need, and I hope to provide a service to people that need it. And if you find that in other companies, in other businesses, like awesome, like do your thing, help them help you, and totally fine. But for me, I do see some need, and I feel like I can fulfill that role. And so I'm hoping that it will be well received by a small group of people. However that looks, I have no idea, but I think it'll be a good thing. So I see it more like, so I'll give another example. Like I used to be in the church world, right? And if you look in certain areas, there's like 5 churches. I'm not even exaggerating. There's like 5 churches in kind of a 5 mile radius. No, there's more than five. In a 5 mile radius, you can probably find like a dozen churches in that one area. In some areas of where I live, and in the South, I'm sure it's like a Starbucks. There's like a church on every corner. Like, why do we do that? I mean, there's bad reasons for doing that, but there's also good reasons, right? We serve a subset of group of people that we have kind of a unique strength in, and people are drawn to that. If not, they'll go somewhere else, right? Starbucks feels is like a local coffee shop here. Restaurants, like, why do we have so many restaurants? It's because people have different tastes. They want to try this, they want to try that. So for me, there's plenty of space for people to use. When it comes to, even for crested geckos, why one breeder over the other? What makes the difference? Is it just because they have better animals? Yeah, sometimes. But there's enough space for all of us to come and share our animals. And sometimes a lot of people leave the hobby because they're not able to sell or move things, and they're discouraged. And that's okay. That's fine. But I really think that we need to have the mindset of like, what subset group of people can I serve, as opposed to like, oh, I gotta reach everybody. If I don't reach everybody, I get discouraged and I'm out. Like, I don't see it like that. I see it more as like, how can we serve a certain group of people within this larger umbrella of gecko people, and even larger umbrella of reptile keepers, and even larger umbrella of different industries and hobbies, aquatics, plants, other things. So it's like that. I feel like when you have a bigger vision of where to go and different areas that you can serve, then your eyes will be open to be like, there's actually a lot of space here to be creative with business. So that's kind of where I'm at with shipping stuff, and hopefully it's well received. And if not, I'll adjust and figure it out. But I am investing a good amount of time and resources and money and energy into creating a product that will hopefully be beneficial to you guys and to the wider hobby as well. So there's that. That's hopefully a quick snippet and preview of things to come in the coming months. But yeah, other than that, do we want to talk about anything else? 40 something minutes in. I think we're good there. Hopefully that was helpful for you guys. Again, let me encourage you guys to just press on in the hobby. Do your best to work on good projects and see more than just the business side of things. See how what you do affects the hobby, and how you can position yourself to be a brand that people trust and people know and people will see and value and go to. Plenty of room for everybody. Like, we need to see more people, solid breeders, solid business people that can do well in this hobby, because the more of us that come about, the more attractive and alluring it is for people that aren't in the hobby yet. We're trying to bring more people into the hobby. Good people. I'm not talking about just like crappy people that are just gonna dump the hobby instantly, and we have some of that, obviously. And but rather than sulking, let's just present ourselves in a way that is positive, that is hopeful, and that really shows people that this can be done. This can be done right. We can do a good job in it, and here is the way. It's not an easy path, but there is a path, and we can get there. So hopefully that was helpful. Subscribe, like, whatever you guys want to do. But in my small niche of the world, with my 500 subs, like, hopefully it hits 5 people to inspire them to kind of do amazing things in this hobby. So that's all we need, just a handful of us. If we can get more, awesome. If not, then that's all we can do. So I will see you guys later. I'll keep continuing to press forward. If you need if you want to see kind of live vlogs of some of the things I talk about, you can go on Palm Tree. I sell on there too, so it'll be a mix with sales and also just chatting, hanging out, and connecting with the audience and building rapport and yeah, just encouraging people in the community. So yep. So Palm Street, Instagram, Zeros Geckos, Gecko Pod. Subscribe to all those things, like all those things if you want. I actually don't know what the likes do, but the subscriptions help because you can see who actually likes your stuff, and it's always encouraging, right? And so, yep. Take care, guys. I will see you guys later. Have a good weekend.